It's 4:03 a.m. The world outside is asleep, but my street hums with the quiet panic of fluorescent lights. The porch lamp flickers, weak and nervous. The pavement is slick from last night's rain, or maybe from her blood. She's heavier than I expected. Dead weight isn't just a phrase, it's punishment. The blanket I wrapped her in keeps slipping. Her hair keeps finding its way out, strands sticking to my wrist like threads that won't let go. The suitcase wheels snag against the concrete. I pull harder. My breath fogs the air, uneven, animal. Then it happens. The chime. A small, innocent sound, but I feel it slice through the dark. I look up. The red ring glows. The doorbell camera blinks once, twice, and I know. It saw me. It saw everything. I keep moving, because stopping means remembering why. They found her car first, parked crookedly near the edge of the lot behind the gas station. I had left the keys inside, a mistake born of exhaustion, not mercy. Detectives came to the house 2 days later. Their shoes squeaked on my tile floor as they asked questions that weren't really questions. When did you last see your wife? Was she upset that night? Would you mind if we looked around? I said yes to everything, calmly, like a man rehearsing for a role he'd already memorized. They didn't notice the bleach on my fingers. They didn't question the faint echo of a scrubbed floor. They were polite, almost apologetic, until one of them mentioned footage. A neighbor's doorbell camera, he said. Routine review. Just a formality. I smiled. Too easily. Because the moment that red light blinked, my fate had already started to render itself in pixels. Time changes when you're waiting to be caught. Days blur. Every knock sounds like judgment. Every phone vibration feels like a gun to your temple. I started sleeping on the couch, not out of guilt, but because our bed still smelled like her shampoo. Vanilla and faint citrus. I couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand how her voice lingered in the walls, in the toys our sons left scattered on the floor. Friends called. I ignored them. Her sister texted. I said she'd gone to visit her mother in Peru, a lie I barely believed myself. Then, one evening, the detective called again. They'd found something interesting. A video. The words hung in the air like smoke I couldn't breathe through. That night, I sat in front of the mirror and tried to convince my reflection that accidents happen, that pushing her wasn't murder, that she fell, that I panicked. But even my reflection didn't believe me anymore. When they played the footage, no one spoke. It was silent except for the faint scrape of the suitcase wheels against the concrete. The timestamp glowed in the corner. 4:03 a.m. The moment I crossed from man to monster. I watched myself drag her body, watched my shoulders tense, my face hollow under the flickering light. They didn't need to ask questions anymore. The truth was right there, cold, pixelated, undeniable. The detective looked at me with something close to pity. "Why didn't you just leave her?" he asked quietly. I didn't answer. Because I didn't have one. Because anger doesn't explain everything. Control does. I couldn't stand her laughter anymore, her independence, her small rebellions that made me feel smaller. She was supposed to need me, but she didn't. So I took back control, the only way I knew how. And the camera took everything else. They didn't arrest me that night. They let me walk out, silent and shaking. Maybe they wanted to see if I'd run. I didn't. Running would have meant I still believed I could escape. 2 days later, they came back. No sirens, no shouting, just a quiet knock and the soft rustle of cuffs. My sons were at school. I'd made their breakfast. Toast and milk, the same as every morning. The detective didn't gloat. He just said, "The camera never lies." And for once, I didn't either. In the interrogation room, I told them everything. Every moment. Every breath. The sound of her head hitting the wall. The way her eyes widened before going still. I said it without trembling, without remorse. Because in that sterile, humming room, I wasn't confessing. I was surrendering to the truth that had been watching me all along. They say prison smells like rust and despair. I barely notice anymore. The walls are cleaner than my conscience. Sometimes I hear her voice in my sleep. Not angry, not scared. Just disappointed. I wake up and stare at the ceiling, waiting for morning, waiting for silence. The doorbell footage still exists somewhere, online, in evidence folders, in news reports that reduce her to the victim. I've become a case number, a warning, a thumbnail people scroll past. But when I close my eyes, I still see that red ring blinking, once, twice, before it captured the end of everything. Justice came, not with a verdict, but with a recording. And as the cell lights flicker above me, I finally understand.